So, your test is upcoming and you haven't studied until now.
Don't worry, neither did we.
We're here to tell you everything you need to know in Procrastinators Video!
Procrastinators Videos. So we're going to teach you everything that you need to know about what the Constitution says about the President in the next 4 minutes.
Ain't nobody got time for that! So hopefully you know that before the colonies garnered independence, they were ruled by the quite sucky and somewhat tyrannical King George III.
As a result, the founders feared a strong executive, and when they wrote the Articles of the Confederation, they gave the President basically no power.
However, after the complete and epic failure of the Articles, the founders realized that a real executive was necessary.
The Constitution states, "The executive power shall be vested in a President of the United States of America."
Hooray! The Constitution also states that presidents' terms are limited to 4 years, and under the 22nd Amendment, presidents are limited to 2 terms. Thanks, FDR.
But don't think that just anyone can run for president. Candidates must meet a few qualifications.
One must be at least 35 years old,
Be a natural-born citizen.
and have been a U.S. resident for the last 14 consecutive years.
The Constitution also sort of establishes the office of the Vice President.
The Vice President assumes the office of the Presidency in the case that the President dies or gets mad cow disease or something.
Also, under the 12th Amendment, the Constitution states voters must cast 2 separate votes for the President and Vice President. So we don't end up with, President Donald Trump and Vice President Hillary Clinton.
Thank goodness for that.
The 25th Amendment, passed in 1967, defines the rules for secession.
So if President Obama moves to Mongolia and Joe Biden is too busy making memes to be president, then the following people would be in line for the presidency.
The Speaker of the House, the pro tempore of the House, the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Treasury, the Secretary of Defense,
Okay,
the Secretary...
thank you. We don't need to know who's 59th in line for the presidency. But you do need to know what happens if the president, screws his intern or something and we don't like him. Bill Clinton.
If Americans decide that we hate the president, then the House of Representatives can impeach the president upon a simple majority vote.
This is basically like charging the president with a crime, like adultery, for example.
After impeachment, the Senate then holds a trial to convict the president of their charges. If the president is convicted, they can be removed from office.
Unless you're Nixon and you resign before Congress can impeach you.
Okay, now let's discuss the Electoral College.
Basically, it comes down to this. The founders didn't trust us, the common peoples, because we're stupid and make bad decisions. But they also didn't want it to be solely in the control of Congress, because that's just too much power.
So they devised a system where the people's votes are represented in their state according to its population. Each state gets the number of electors equal to the total of its elected congressional representatives.
For example, California has 53 representatives in the House and 2 senators, adding to a total of 55 electoral votes.
This system takes some power from the people and values smaller states, who get a minimum of 3 electoral votes, at least 1 representative and 2 senators.
Most states have a winner-take-all system in which the candidate who receives the most votes in that state receives all of its electoral votes, unless you're Maine or Nebraska, who both have a form of representative election.
There are 538 electors in the Electoral College, and a candidate needs to win 270 votes to win the presidency.
It's also worth noting that the District of Columbia, which is technically not a state, has 3 electoral votes that we don't completely ignore its citizens.
And that completes our first episode of Procrastinators Videos.
We hope you enjoyed, and of course, good luck procrastinating!
Da 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 da.
Ain't nobody got time for that!